Hello and welcome back to my channel. For Thanksgiving this year, we drove 2.5 hours south of here to a place that we have to spend a little time with family for the holiday. And during that, I went ahead and took some parts down that I had ordered for a project that I have down there, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that project. It's a 1985 Mustang GT. It's a 5-liter, 5-speed, 61,000 original miles that I bought up near Omaha, Nebraska, I'm going to say at the end of 2019. I I was just up there working, and I after work went and looked at a Facebook Marketplace car that I saw and bought it. And then I later on made arrangements to fly back up there, and then I drove it back. I had all the fluids changed and had it serviced to a certain extent, and then got on the road and drove it. The tires were a little square from sitting. The story was that the car was probably on its third owner, and the second owner was a doctor who had it and had given it or left it to one of his people that worked in his office when he died, when he passed away. And so she had it, and they put it in a warehouse, and it was stored there for a while, and then it accumulated a ding from being stored in the warehouse. And at that point, they decided to pull it out and bring it home and put it in their garage before finally deciding to sell it. And so that's where I came into the picture. So it's a nice car. It's really clean. It's got some defects from sitting, and that's what we'll find out is that when I went down to go see it this time, it went ahead and reminded me that things do deteriorate when they're just sitting, and so it prompts me to start to do something with it or try to get moving along on this. So with that, let's dive right in. All right, so we'll skip that little bit there of the water leak, and I'll talk about the car. So you can see here it's got the original fog lights. The paint is in really good condition. It's still running on tires from probably somewhere in the 2000s or maybe the 1990s. But they are still holding together, but I think that would improve. There's the ding I talked about. I don't even know if it goes through the paint, but I think a paintless dent repair place might be able to do something with that. The car is a little dusty from sitting in here. The tag is from 2020, which was the last time that I had it on the road, and the last time I drove it was in January of this year. I drove it from where I'm at to the garage, about 2.5 hours, and so that makes it even more surprising when you fire it up and you find out you've got a water leak. The interior's in good condition. The headliner is hanging down. I think I'll have a shot of that later. It's got a Nakamichi stereo in it with an amplifier somewhere under the dash. It had some aftermarket box speakers in the back, and my damn finger's getting in there. And I took those out just because they looked tacky, and they were screwed through the plastic to hold them up against the sides. Pop the trunk here, and it's got a cargo cover that pulls back, and then it's got a sunroof bag because it does have a sunroof. And I think I'll just kind of pull that cover out so you can see it here, and then I'll put it back. Thinking about what else here. Obviously everything works. It's got power windows, they work. The AC does not work, the heater does not work, and there's a reason for that. The heater core has been bypassed due to a leak, and so that's some work that's going to have to take place on the car. Here's the gauges. I did some work on this car recently when it had a vacuum leak, or I have a misfire that I was chasing, and it was only happening on acceleration, and so I went ahead and found that the power brake booster was leaking vacuum. And so I went ahead and replaced that recently, and I have not yet bled the brakes, but I did drive it, and so it obviously required a few pumps before it would stop. So I came prepared to do that before I kind of ran out of time due to other family commitments. Got the battery disconnected here. It's been sitting there, and then I'm letting you kind of look up at the sky while I get the prop rod out. and get the hood up and reconnect the battery. And I think we'll join the action in just a second. I'm gonna be firing it up, and so I'm gonna probably lose the ability to talk over. It does take a little while. It's obviously been since January that this is run, so we're talking about 8 or 9 months, and so what happens then is the fuel tends to dry up in the lines or get drawn back or something, because it does not want to start easily. So let's see what happens here. So after just letting it run for a few minutes, I went and looked under the hood, and I saw that water was spraying out of a hose, one of the heater hoses coming off of the water pump. So it deteriorated enough that it got a nice little leak there. So I've got to replace those hoses. And so it's just from sitting. I mean, the last time I drove it 2.5 hours. So I need to go through and probably replace a bunch of vacuum lines and make sure that everything is good there. The other thing that I've been dealing with, I hinted at earlier, was that I've had a misfire on acceleration at lower RPMs, and then it completely goes away, and it doesn't do it when it's not under load. And looking at it, it's still running the original Motorcraft spark plug wires. And so I'm in the process of just swapping those out. I did get a new coil for it as well. So my goal is to get that coil changed out, and hopefully that problem is eliminated. The carburetor runs really well. I mean, there's no issues with it at all for a car that's sat for so long. I know that those Holly 4 barrels are a little bit more complicated than kind of your standard 4 barrel. So I wasn't looking forward to having to like rebuild it or have it rebuilt, but it doesn't seem needed. It actually passed an emissions test when it first got to New Mexico 3 years ago or whatever. So with that, I'll wrap this up. So thanks for watching. So as you can see, I've got work to do, and I will kind of keep that up. I'll probably try to do some video updates on that vehicle once I do get it going. It's I guess one of the things that I have learned about vehicles in the last few years is that it is really, unless you really love something, it's really hard to own something. You're going to neglect it. You're not going to do what you need to be doing with it. I mean, you either get into collecting cars and motorcycles, that kind of stuff. You do it either for a business or you do it for passion. And if it's going to be for passion, then your motivation is going to have to come from within. If you're doing it for money and that's your motivation, then you're really doing it as a job, and that's not as much fun as doing something because you really want to do it. I mean, we only get one life, and we've got to use it for the things that make us happy. So I guess that's my parting word. Please like, share, and subscribe. I apologize for not having more videos out. I'm kind of in a strange place on all of them, where I am just trying to get focused on one and just move forward. But in the meantime, I keep accumulating things, and I've got to stop doing that. So I am selling the Honda Odyssey, the last thing that I think I picked up. I went ahead and I got that sold, and it's just waiting to be picked up. I've just got to stop getting too many projects because it dilutes my passion, and then that means nothing gets done. So, all right. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts on this car or what I should do with it. What your thoughts are, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.